Hi, Internet viewers. Frank Rauscher again. I'm a little late in getting this video out. I've been a little under the weather. Whatever, got me, a bug got a hold of me, and I'm trying to shake it. So bear with me, if you may. I'm going to make us, you heard this one before, a short video, but I'm going to show you how to cut the wings in. Like in here, we're going to cut this wing in here and over on this side, and I'll give you measurements for that, and we'll get that rolling, and then hopefully this will be one more step, and then I'll try to get back into a regular. I usually try to publish it within about 3 to 4 days, and I just haven't been feeling up to it. I wanted to do it the other day, but just didn't happen. So what I'm going to do is just make it short and sweet. I will show you how to cut it in, and we'll go from there. And then on the next video, we'll go to the head, and I'll really show you how we bring that whole thing out. That's a chore and a half, but that'll make it. That'll really bring the head out, and we'll be able to actually see stuff. Here's like one of them I have done sort of already, and you can get to see how that goes. But there's a lot more shaping within the body yet that I put in. Even though we're going to go for the head after this video, we'll be back on the body again, just a little bit, not that bad. So bear with me, and I hope you're enjoying it. The other thing I want to express to you, I do have a catalog, and I do have kits available. And if anybody would like to do this project, feel free to contact me. And my email address again is Rauscher, R-A-U-S-C-H-E-R, Frank, F-R-A-N-K, 7@gmail.com. And you can write to me and ask me if you need a catalog or what have you, and I can email it out to you. Also, if you get anything, if you see anything in the catalog and you're interested, let me know. And if you want to talk, we could do that too. I try to guide you on what you need and not everything. Okay, I'm not trying to sell you the whole 9 yards. You really don't need it all. Okay, and there are certain bits that do the job, and I try to express that almost on every video. And I will explain to you what bits I'm using. And if you don't have that size, like we did on the last one where we cut the shoulder in, you could use the smaller hogging bit and just widen it, that's all. So there's ways around things, so always keep that in mind. We try to do what we have, okay, as far as making things work. You don't need to buy every bit. And again, like what I'm using is a Fordham, and the Fordham is a motor with a flex shaft that you'll see me use today again. And but you could use a smaller bit too. Okay, and if you have a Dremel or something like that, you can utilize that as well. So don't feel as if you're hung up. But I do have them available if you need equipment or burners or burning pens. You'll see some of those in a catalog, and I have those if you're willing to want to purchase them from me. So what I'm going to do is bring the camera down, see if we can't get this rolling, so I can get this published and get it out. Again, I'm sorry to be as late as I have. Just didn't feel like coming down and doing anything. So bear with me on this, and we'll keep you moving a little bit more, and hopefully you'll enjoy this one just as like you did the rest. So bear with me. Okay, like everything else we're going to do, we're measuring, and it'd be good to get like a stiff ruler if you have that. I call it a stiff ruler because I have these flexible ones too. And so that's a broken one just about. and I utilize both. So what we're doing here, just to give you an idea, this is the wing right here. And if I shadow that just a little bit so you can see what's happening here, this is the edge of the wing that's coming all the way out to here. Okay, but it doesn't go out to the end. The tail sticks out there. But all of this is your wing. And it starts right here and it ends here. I'm going to give you measurements so we could cut this in. Okay, so we'll establish that now. I'm going to swing this around so I can read my dimensions, because I play the same game as everybody else. I have to go over these, and I've done this a million times, but it's smart to always check what you're doing. Now, here's what I need you to do. I know for some of you, if you could lay it on your pattern and then do a spot there and so on. If you had the pattern, you could do it that way. But if you don't, and you got to start from the tail up, okay, because the head turns and it doesn't lay flat like this one does. The head's turned. So most of the dimensions we're going to come from is the tail in. So I'm going to ask you to get the bird in profile. I'm going to ask you to come to the end and get your ruler at 3.5 inches from here to here, measuring from the tail up. I'm going to ask you to put a dot somewhere in the vicinity of the end of the ruler here. Now, here's the trick. And you need the bird in profile, so you can't be rolling it this way or that way. You got to make sure that if you have a flat, which we do here, because we didn't round everything perfectly, you want this flat to be straight up and down. And if you get that, then what you do is you get your ruler and you measure from the outside. And what I mean by that is down here, get your ruler over to the edge, and if you measure in properly and you're in, if you have the profile just right, you're going to come up with 5/8 of an inch, and you'll put a dot. And the 5/8 is from here all the way down to here. So it's 5/8. I know we have a little valley down in here. That's not, the concern is measuring from here to the belly without going into that valley. So it's 3.5 up. It's 5/8 from the outside edge in, and you put a dot. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to come back an inch from that spot. Okay. And that's heading back the same way we started from the tail. So if you measure back an inch, put a dot, and this dimension is going to be from the outside edge, like right here, where the ruler is, in 7/16. So I'm going to get my 7/16. Line that up. That's shy of a 1/2 inch. And put my dot where it's supposed to be. If I had it in the wrong spot, I move it now. Now, I'm going to measure another inch back. And that would be like about here. Okay. And I'll put a light dot there. And I want to measure up from the outside edge up to that dot, 3/8 of an inch. And that is going to land right there. So I have 3.5 up to here and 5/8 in from the belly. I have this one 2.5 or an inch from here and 7/16 down. Then I come another inch down, and from here to the outside or the belly side here, looking straight down, I'm 3/8. Now, I'm also going to come back 1 more inch again, and I'll put that right here. And I'm going to measure in from the belly side up 5/16. So I'm going to lay my 5/16 right up to there. Okay. Now, here's one other thing I need you to do. I need you to measure from the tail up on the center of the body here. And I want to measure up 3/8. Okay. So I lay this here and measure up 3/8 and put a dot. Now, here we go. I'm going to make an arc going right through all these. Let's see if I did that last one right before. An inch back. Let's see. Yeah, that's right. And 5/16 in. Okay, now here we go. I'm going to start from this dot, and I'm going to draw an arc. And I want a continuous arc that's just flowing from one to another. It's not a straight line as much as it is an arc. Okay, now I get down to this one. Then we have this up here, which is 3/8 in. I'm going to ask you to come in and wind this down to where this floats right up. Okay, like that. Okay, so it's like one continuous arc, and then it bends as it comes up. All right, now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to measure in profile now, from the end of the tail, 3.5. And instead of this sheet, like if you have something like this, which is shelf material, this helps you from not sliding. I know I'm trying to keep the sheet in front of me here, but that's more helpful because that acts as like a third hand. And this tends to want to rock and roll a lot. So keep that in mind. When you get to a dollar store, you can get them a roll of it for $1.25 or something like that. Okay, I'm going to lay my ruler from the end of the tail straight as the crow flies. Go 3.5, put a dot. Then I'm going to measure from the outside of the belly down here. I want to measure 5/8 straight down. At least that's what I'm trying to do. So you want to get it in profile. You come over here. Lining this up. And you really got to check yourself out because you can drift a lot. I'm going to drop it right here. So if I need to erase the dot I put in there originally, I just want one dot, okay? Then 1 inch back from that dot, I measure and put a dot in as well. Okay, so I got a dot here. And that one is 7/8 in from the belly. So I check myself out to see if I'm flat underneath here. Measuring up 7/8. I put a dot there. Okay, that's 2. Now I'm going to measure another inch back. Put a dot there, and that should be 3/8 in. So I'm going to lay my ruler here, and let's see where 3/8 comes in at. 3/8 is up here. My dot's down here, so that's not exactly right. And then 1 inch more going towards the tail. I put a dot, and then I want to come in 5/16 from the outside edge of the belly. Make sure, it's kind of hard because you gotta hold it steady, and this comes down a little bit, so I'll make that heavier down there. So I have this row coming up, and I got this over here. So we're going to do it this way. We're going to go from here. I'm going to arc this through. See, it's not a straight line. And I'm arcing this up, and then this up to here. And then the last thing it does, it curls around and connects down here. Okay, see? Now that's our outline. Now, what I want to do is I want to come in and cut that in. And I want to cut that in with a Fordham. Here's the Fordham. It's a motor with a flex shaft. This has a tungsten carbide bit, so what they call a hogging bit. They're called Kutzels. There's a lot of different names for them. And they also make them in a smaller diameter as well. And if you have this will do the job for you as well. So here we go. I'm going to turn on my machine, which will make a little bit of noise. And here we go. I am going to lay my bit right below the line, almost on the line. And I'm going to undercut this. Stay in control here. Okay, I'm coming down. Now we're cutting in this almost straight up and down. Okay, I have in there maybe from here to here about 1/8 of an inch out from here. Okay, if you're looking for depth. Then what I'm going to do is then lift my edge up. And I'm going to come around this way. I don't want to take all of this off because I got to get a tail out of this yet too. So I'm going to come across here and stay in control. Take this down. About a 16th, give or take, to do it. And then we start back up again here on the bottom edge here. Like this edge. And I walk it right on down. Okay, let me shut this off a minute. They can hear me. if I got to give you a gauge, I would say from here it starts pulling in, but from here back before it rolls up, you have about 1/8 of an inch in. Okay, now you have another edge that occurred right here from cutting it in. Okay, and you have another edge from here. That's just from cutting it in, okay? Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to roll this edge ever so lightly. So let me get this going here. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to use the back and forth motion. I'm not trying to go in on the wing. I'm trying to roll below it, just so this gets rounded over and I don't make any more edges. I'm trying to smooth that out. And I'm not worried about up here. I'm just worried about right here. Okay? So that's rolling around now. And it doesn't have many edges, so that's good. Now I'm going to come in here. And I'm rolling this too, just to get that edge to go disappear. I'm not worried about everything else on the tail here. I'm really not. I don't want to get too thin yet because I got to build that up. There is a tail feathers on this bird, and we got to create that as well. So what I'm asking you to do is get a nice rounded area. If you feel a bump in there, just do it gently and get it out. And there we go. We have like a shelf in here of 1/8 of an inch and a shelf in here of 1/8 of an inch. You notice it gets thinner as it comes down. And then we roll this around about 1/16 down from the top. And we still have a good amount of material in there yet. So that cuts the wings in, okay? And we have that established now. Don't mind this little thing here. This is just an inclusion in the wood, and it'll go away in time. You know, it's not going to interfere with our bird. And that happens with basswood every once in a while. You get a spot here or there. It's really not that bad. So I want to give you this much so that the wing's going to be established. Then we'll go for the head on the next video, and we'll start getting that shaped out. And we do have some other markings that we have to incur up here on the wings, and I'll show you that on the next video after we get going on the head. The head I want to get is getting the whole head out, the beak, the head, the eye channel, what I call the cheek area, and all this. So we will put that together on the next video. So I hope you got something out of this one. If you did, I'd ask you to give me a thumbs up. If you would subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate that. We're trying to teach as much as I know and then some. And I've got several videos out there, and the sandpiper's one of them that we're trying to accomplish. And once we get to that, then I'll go on to another one, and we'll do that. And there's several of them out there. I've got cardinals and wrens, and what's the name? You name it, we got it, okay? And I have, I can't even think of some of them, but I'm doing them, you know, one at a time. And I know other people have requested me to do certain birds. I'm going to pick and choose as I go. I can't guarantee that I'm going to do everything for everybody, but eventually I'll get around to doing them. Over the years that I've been doing these, I've probably did maybe 100 birds, I would say, give or take. So I will try. I don't know if I'll ever get to the 100, but I will show you a lot, and I'm going to try to give you all the techniques that I go through to get it. And again, if you know of anybody that may be interested and want to try this and they're friends of yours, if you could pass my information on my channel, I'd appreciate that greatly. If anybody needs the patterns or the kits or something like that, I have those available. It is helpful sometime to have it. It doesn't have all the dimensions on it, but as I give it to you, you should mark them up. I don't mark them all up on here when I say it a kit. I do get the main ones, but like for here, where I'm measuring from the end in, I tell you the dimension. The smart thing to do is if you have the sheet, you can mark it in case you want to do another one and so on. Or you have the video in front of you as well. That's another way of doing it. See, the beauty part about the videos are you could go back and redo it again and look it over and over in case you didn't quite understand the first time what was given to you. Yeah, you have it maybe the second time. And hey, it's a technique. I make it look easy sometime. And it's, like trying to get this in profile it could drive you nuts because the piece wants to roll a lot. That's why I say if you have like something like this, when you're measuring, it tends to steady it, rather than have a sheet of paper underneath it. But some people also like the sheet of paper where they can sort of transfer their markings and come in and do it that way. So there's a lot of different ways of trying to reach it. I try to give you what I think is the best way, but that's may not always be for everybody, So hope you got something out of this one. I apologize for being so late on getting this video out, but I'll try to get back on a 3 to 4 day schedule and give you some more and see if we can't get this bird flying here, okay? So see you again, and hope you enjoyed it. Bye now.